because well, after that you released even well the same amount of albums, but then in a time span of 15, 16 years. What was it like for you to take the break off and then return again? Was it with the same energy, intensity? Or?
Yeah, always. You always, at least for Anthrax, we always go in with the same attitude when we're writing songs or recording or touring. Nothing has changed. The way we work is exactly the same as it was in 1983. Like we just try and do the best we can when whatever we're doing. Whatever time we have to write songs, we do the best we can, and then when we're recording, we do our best. We play live shows. We just always try to be the best band we could be. You know, it's been the same attitude since day one.
What kept the band going after all those years? Just you, or?
No, we just me, Frankie, and Charlie have been in the band since 1984 together. So you know, it's a pretty good core. We still like what we do. You know, if you're not having fun, I don't think you should do it. I know there's a lot of bands that are together for different reasons. If I wasn't having fun doing this, I would have stopped doing it a long time ago. Even when it's a lot of work, it's still fun. I'm not fucking building railroads or, you know, putting concrete down to build a house or, you know, like a real job. This is, no matter how much work we're doing playing in a band, it's still fun. At the end of the day, I still get to go play a show, or I still get to go in the studio and make a record, you know, no matter how hard the work is. So, and I still really enjoy doing that. It's still fun for me to do it.
And how important is Stormtroopers of Death for you? Because, well, you also released 4 albums with them.
SOD?
Yeah?
Well, it's a completely different thing. SOD was never really supposed to be a real band or anything. It was just a fun thing to do on the side that would be completely different than being in a normal band. Just something that made us laugh, that was all.
Oh, but did you need it maybe sometimes, or was it just...
It's always fun to laugh, so sure.
That's good. Well, it's been for you, it's 3 years since you released well, your last album, Worship Music. Well, before Worship Music and the previous one was 8 years. Will there be another 4 years to wait for a new album? Or?
No. We should be in the studio by September or October of this year. We will start recording, and then hopefully a record will come out early in 2015.
Do you have the songs already written, or?
Oh yeah, a lot.
And what sort of style will it be?
Anthrax. I think that explains it. I don't need to tell you anyone what style it is. It sounds like Anthrax.
And what are your plans for? Well, you've turned 50 now. What's special for you turning 50, by the way?
My wife threw me a lot of good parties. Four birthday parties. So that was awesome. But no, I don't feel any different.
And being a father now, is it also different, or?
Well, that's very different. That's really the only thing in my life, other than my relationship with my wife, but even still, she's an adult. She's also in the world of music, so she understands how my whole professional thing works. And before our son, you know, she could just come on tour with me, and it was fine. Or when she was touring, I would go on tour with her. But now we have a child, and he's just a child, so he doesn't really understand how things work yet. You know, he gets it now that Daddy goes and plays shows and he's in a band. But it's the only thing really that's changed my priorities. You know, he comes first, you know, before anything. So that's definitely, in the last 3 years, that's the big change that's happened. Is certainly when you have a child, if it doesn't change your priorities, then you probably shouldn't have a child.
Do you see also how young he is, that he likes music?
He loves music. He walks around with drumsticks all day long, and he has got a drum kit at home, and he listens to music all day long, and he loves coming up and watching the shows, and yeah, he loves it.
Last question. Well, you started out, like you were saying, 81. It's been now almost 30 years, or over 30 years. What were your thoughts when you started the band? What were your thoughts on?
My thoughts when I started the band was how do we make a record? How do we get a record deal? How do we make a record? That's all we thought about for 2.5 years or something until we signed to Megaforce and we made Fistful of Metal. Was just trying to be good enough to get somebody to think, I'm gonna put these guys in the studio and make an album. You know, we just looked up to all our heroes and all these bands, you know, and like Iron Maiden had to start somewhere. They didn't start out, you know, like the band that made Number of the Beast. They started small over here, and AC/DC started somewhere, and everyone has to start somewhere. So that's how we felt the same way. We're just starting, but in 3 years we're going to be really good, and that's all that's all we cared about.
And when did you sense some sort of changing point of view? Did you thought, well, now this band may last, may have some sort of impact?
Well, I mean, in the mid 80s, by 87, 88, 89, 90, those years, 91, 92, 93, you know, when the band got big all around the world, that's when we knew, you know, okay, there's people all over the planet that love this music, and we were selling a lot of records and selling a lot of tickets, and then, I mean, that's when we knew if we could just be consistent and just be a good band and do what we want to do, then we could probably do this as long as we want to.
Yeah.
You know, I think, you know, once we broke through and people started to enjoy our music, and then, you know, there's people all around the planet that are actually looking forward to what you do, you know, it feels great, because then I kind of knew, like, wow, I could really make a career of this, you know. Now we could just be a band as long as we still want to do it.
And well, I don't know if it's important for you, but being one of the big four, is it important, or?
Titles don't really mean, I don't think, much, but I'm proud of what we did as a band. I'm proud of the fact that in the early 80s we happened to be a part of a scene that created a new style of heavy metal, and people all over the planet loved it. You know, I'm very proud of what, you know, certainly of what we did and what we created and what we accomplished, and I think it really shows, you know, you look at the 4 bands involved, we're all still here. We're all still doing it at a pretty big level, of course, especially Metallica. And 1 second. And so I think it really just shows you, you know, people really love this music. Back in the 80s, people thought thrash was just going to be some kind of a fad. You know, people didn't really take it too seriously at first, you know. But I think we proved them wrong.
You toured with Metallica even in the early 80s, and you also joined the stage with them a few years ago. Did you know back then they were going to be like this huge?
No, who could ever know? No, of course not.
It could be maybe that you thought they were really good, or...
Well, yeah, there's tons of great bands, but you never think, you know, I don't think any band even the guys in the band can never, it's hard to imagine anyone in a band thinking one day we're going to be, you know, like, it's one thing to think like you'll be a big band, and maybe you make platinum records and you could, but, you know, and that's really big. But and I thought that before, and Anthrax did that. We play arenas and, you know, whatever. But I never thought in my head, we're going to be the biggest band. Like, I've never actually thought that. I don't know that anyone, maybe Bono thought that at some point, that U2 is going to be the biggest band in the world. Or, you know, maybe Mick Jagger was able to think that when he was young, but I didn't.
Thank you for your time.
Cool.
Thank you.